11, you got a pretty big audience. It's live in the U.S. It's going live to Japan.
Apollo 11, this is Houston, over.
We were fortunate enough to come along at the right timing.
It's a beautiful sight.
Roger, understand. We're number one on the runway.
If other people wanted to be a part of this, and this was a noble national effort, why, I wanted to be a part of it. A few of us were in the right place again at the right time to be given that wonderful opportunity of making the first landing. Timing is everything. Timing, again, I knew how to intercept airplanes in the air, but what we didn't know in 1960 was how to rendezvous in space.
He had a nickname, Dr. Rendezvous.
He loves to talk about technical stuff, particularly rendezvous. I mean, he'll get this orbit going this way and that orbit going the other way.
Buzz was our MIT scientist pilot. He was smart, he was inventive, he was absolutely certain he could do it better, way better.
And that's why I'm doing all the things that I can
Appreciate the great show.
to try and improve with my talents. One of the prime drivers of humanity, and that's to gradually, purposefully expand our presence out into the solar system. I envision an opportunity for everyone here, or at least our children, to visit space personally.
Dr. Aldrin has always been an explorer. He has ventured off-world twice.
It's fascinating to participate in deep-sea submergent voyages by human beings. And that's why I volunteered and enjoyed a submersible trip down to see the Titanic. That's why I went on voyages to the North Pole, because the people who conduct these type trips will also be typical of the organizations that allow you, other human beings, to be able to go into orbit. And that, I think, is the key to our future. Suborbital flights, orbital flights. We need to lay the groundwork for that. Why? Because it's the way we're going to get back to the moon.
40 feet down, 2.5.
Being on the right side of Neil in that lunar module, when we shut the engine down, we realized that we had made it.
He was the first astronaut to support the space tourism movement. He has also made significant contributions to this country and to the people of the Earth through his innovative design achievements.
It will take a partnership between NASA and the private sector to successfully develop this space tourism industry. Since being on the moon, I wanted to see exploration continue, but I realized that without enthusiastic support of the general public, it just isn't going to happen. And I applaud all the efforts that are being done in that behalf, and I want to accelerate the movement from suborbital flight to orbital as soon as I can. I've been working on a project, nonprofit, called Share Space. It can't be just a space program for the wealthy. We have to open it up to others. That's why I've been working on a lottery that's called Share Space. Public space travel, a new industry. One of the biggest industries of the future, which is going to be passenger travel into space.
It was a little amazing to watch the Russians be out there welcoming an American tourist while our own bureaucracy was rejecting the idea.
Absolutely, Newt. The taxpayers have been paying for this space program for a long time. It's about time that the private citizen had an opportunity to be able to share in these wonderful experiences.
I know probably some version of what you're discussing eventually will come to pass.
Yes, well, that's the way we're going to get back to the moon and on to Mars.
Buzz, if you had the chance, would you go to Mars if you could, or even back to the moon?
You want me to really be honest with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would go back to the moon, but going to Mars, that's a long duration type mission. I recently wrote a book called The Return.
It's a techno thriller. And it's based on some of your experiences?
No, it's based on what I think should happen.
What should happen?
We need to start flying private citizens in space. What this book does is it makes a real person out of the person who was on a pedestal. Things that I've experienced in my life, the house that I grew up in, the airplane that I first had a flight in.
I'm Lieutenant Aldrin. I just got down off my 56th mission. I'm stationed here at an advanced base in Korea.
We hope that it'll inspire a lot of young people to think about their education and how that can contribute to world conditions, to technology, math, and to their own futures.
Morris, how doable is that?
Human beings will go to Mars. Human beings will go to the far reaches. At some point, human beings will journey to the stars.
I think it's very crucial when we think about going to Mars that we think very carefully and commit ourselves to a growing permanence. Going to Mars is going to be a very expensive proposition unless we're willing to commit to a permanent settlement that increases in size.
That's why we need to send humans there, because it is beyond question the most likely permanent off-planet site for colonization for survival of the species.
I hope that you're successful. I hope we get a next generation of space travel, and I hope that every one of us has a chance to go into space. Colonel Aldrin, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks, Buzz. Thanks for joining.
Pleasure to be with you, Larry.
Buzz Aldrin, good guy, good friend. Second man on the moon.
I really want to start out right up front, not thanking Tsiolkovsky and Oberth and Goddard, but thanking my wife Lois for coming into my life 20 years ago.
I married a rocket man. In these past 20 years, I feel like I've taken a journey to the stars. And if Buzz gets his way, look out, Generation Space, because your trip to the stars is just about to begin.
So, here it is. You got your white gloves on.
What a privilege to get close to it again. Well, it's been a long time since I've seen this piece of rock. 5 inches away from the moon again.
Buzz, this is Houston. It's about time for you to start your EVA closeout activities.
A lot of people would like to think that astronauts fit into one particular mold.
And you're cleared for takeoff.
But that's not really the case.
0 hour, 9 a.m.
I'm a rocket man, and I think it's going to be a long, long time. Long, long time.
Buzz Aldrin, ladies and gentlemen!
Check it out, I was here with none other than my main man, Buzz Aldrin. What was it like not being the first man on the moon? Was you ever jealous of Louis Armstrong?
And how fast is the Saturn V rocket? How many miles an hour are we talking?
We were doing about 2 inches per gallon.
Right.
I had to teach this guy an awful lot, you know. My cousin, Buzz Lightyear.
He's a hero you've all read about in the history books. Schools in Virginia and Illinois bear his name.
Gentlemen, I'd like you to meet Buzz Aldrin, the second man on the moon.
Second comes right after first. I brought you a little piece of the moon.
Oh, yeah. I can't imagine that experience. Nobody could relate to it. You were at the top. You were on the moon.
Beautiful view. Magnificent desolation.
Buzz Aldrin, the second man to walk on the moon, said magnificent desolation. It's an oxymoron. I don't know how desolation can be magnificent, but somehow it's the perfect definition of what the moon is.
There was a satisfaction, a sense of achievement, a sense of significance. Those millions of people around the world witnessed, they participated in a degree in that lunar landing. That's the value, because their lives were enhanced.
We feel that this stands as a symbol of the insatiable curiosity of all mankind to explore the unknown.
We were certainly on the right track when we took this commitment to go to the moon.
Spaceship Earth, the fragile home of the entire human race, of all life as we know it, has inspired my own greatest passion, making space travel available to everyone.